asking him why he wanted to go there, I was here and saying, well, how am I going to do that? You know, I don't think I can make that much money in that period of time. Then it wouldn't have happened. Fortunately, we stuck to this process. And it was, first of all, what do you want to do? I really want to go to this school, Dad. Why do you want to go there? Well, because I want to be a professional footballer, and it's the best place for me to go to develop. Now, he's smart as well, okay? He knows I really like self-development. He says, it's the best place for me to go, Dad, to be a professional footballer and to develop myself as a human being. Okay? So, what am I going to do? Am I going to say, well, no, you can't go there? No, I've gone, okay, fine. Let's do it. And make the decision. I encourage you to make decisions like that when you really know what you want and why you want it, to make the decision to do it or have it or go there or become before you look at how you're going to do it. Because actually, with the internet, with the help, certainly with the help in property, the people in this room, you can do whatever you want in property. Whatever you want with the help of the people in this room or someone that they know. Okay? So, if this is the hard bit here. Just deciding what you want and why you want it. Okay? So, what did I do? Well, I decided to invest, and I'll come to that in a little bit. But I had too many options. And who's been to one of these meetings before, or other property meetings? Yeah, most of you again. Okay. So generally, when you see people up the front here, they've been successful in property in some form or another. And I did several property courses. I did one probably about eight years ago, and then one 12-month course around about 3 or 4 years ago. And there was people on that course who, there was a promise on the course, is if you followed what the course taught over a 12-month period, you would either have £50,000 in cash flow generated in that month, and you would have a property portfolio of at least £1 million. Okay? That's a pretty good guarantee to have on a property course. So I was, started off on the first month on that property course. I saw someone who was talking about leaflet distribution. Anyone know Mike Frisbee? Yeah, Mike was talking about leaflet distribution. And I thought, wow, that's good. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm definitely going to get leads by getting some leaflets out there. The next month, I went along, and there was a guy called Paul Ribbons talking. And Paul was talking about buying and selling at auction. And have any of you seen him speak? Yeah, or a few of you again. And he's really exciting, what he does, he makes a lot of money. I thought, I'm definitely going to do some of that. That looks awesome. Okay. The next month, I saw a friend who's a good friend of mine now, Sarah Barrett, talk about lease options. And I thought, whoa, lease options, control property without any money, that's fantastic. I'm definitely going to do some of that. And, this went on, month after month after month. Occasionally I went to other meetings, Berkshire property meet, I've been there, seen some great speakers. And guess what? Every time I got excited by what I saw, and it was something slightly different than I saw the next month. Now, I know none of you are like that, but that's how I was like. Okay? And the problem with that is, anyone here major on leaflet distribution, do 10,000 or more leaflets a month in, anyone? No? Okay. When I've asked that question at other property meetings, there's usually one or two people in the audience who are big leaflet workers, you say, and I ask them this question. I say, okay, have you ever put a leaflet out here at this time, in this area, and then at least 12 months go by, and you get a lead, because they're all referenced them so they know where they come from, so you get a lead on a property that comes from way over there, from something you put out over there, at least 12 months later. Yeah, and they all say, yeah, of course. That happens because someone leaves it lying on the floor who gives it to someone else who passes it to someone else who wraps their chips in it, and then someone buys some chips sometime and finds it and then goes, oh, there's a property for sale, whatever, I'll sell my property. So, if you did that, and like I did, started putting leaflets out, but you actually stopped doing it after 3 or 6 months, you do all the work, I did all the work, but I never actually stayed around for the results. And I worked this out. It took me quite a long time to work this out, but that was my first mistake. And I would say, you know, I didn't have any prolonged focus, and I didn't stay around for the results. And that's what I would ask you to consider, is that the ideas you come across in property, if there's someone standing at the front of this room or in other property networking meetings you go to, there's a very good chance that they're doing what they say or they've done what they say they're doing, okay? And they've been successful, and you can become successful doing the same thing, but you've got to pick something. And don't pick something different next month, and something different the month after, and the month after, which is what I did. That's a photo of my wife, Elaine, and I decided to pick pension investment after being taught and promised to be mentored by Brian, who's actually sitting in here at the front of the room this evening. And I had a book of properties, and I'd gone through this process, and I decided, because I'm going to let you into a secret now, and usually there's maybe a quarter to half the room are like this in a property group, okay? Some people in this room love property. They love buying a property, being there, doing it up, doing all the dealing, and maybe flipping it, and maybe just keeping all, they just love it, okay? There'll be some of you in this room who are not that interested in property, but are interested in the result that property will give you, okay? I definitely fall into the second category. I'm not in love with property. So I decided exactly what I wanted out of it, and Brian's helped me put that in place through my, through actually, in part of the way, through a pension fund that I just had sat there. That you know, Vicki was talking earlier about, you know, you want to get across the river here. Well, I got shown a way where, right at the top here, where the river was a lot narrower, and it was easy for me to make a jump. So, like I said, there's lots of knowledge in this room. You know, speak to everyone, network with people, and let people know what you want. Okay? So, I decided I wanted some property that I didn't put any money into, that I didn't have to do anything, that someone else managed, and I got capital, appreciation and cash flow. Okay? Is that going to happen? Well, guess what? I wrote it down, and it's happened. You know, it's happened for me. So, again, it's free to write stuff down. Don't let this get in the way. I had no idea how it was going to happen when I first started. My wife, who's a very practical person, Elaine, she looked over my shoulder and she said, "What are you getting excited about those photographs of foreign properties for?" And I said, "Well, you know, everything's got to start in someone's brain first, and the picture's got to start here." And she's like, "Yeah, whatever," you know, and off she walked. Well, that was her then sat in the actual pool that she was laughing at, which was a computer-generated image when she looked at it. Okay, and you'll be very pleased to know that when we went there last year, and I took that photograph, I was a very mature person, and I didn't say to her, I told you so, okay? So I've grown up a little bit there as well. So, second mistake, I didn't write my goals down. Now you guys, some of you have I didn't really warn you or prepare you to have pen and paper, so I'm sorry for those of you who haven't got pen and paper. But those of you who've actually taken something from your head and written it down on a piece of paper, you've done something that most people never ever do. And yet it is so, so powerful to do. I've heard a couple of stories through the Olympics about, who saw Tom Daley's picture? Anyone see that? Yeah? It was in diving off the board with a gold medal or something like that? Yeah? He's just performed at the Olympics and got medals there. It's fantastic. David Beckham, you know, he wrote down when he was 10 that he wanted to, three things. He wanted to play football for England, you know, captain his country, and marry a pop star. Well, 2 out of 3 is not bad, is it? Oh, she is a pop star, really. No, he did all those things. It came from a little picture. He wrote it down, get it out of your head. So I would encourage you to not just to think about what you want, but also to write it down. And you've heard it, you've all heard that at least, well, I'm going to say probably a lot of you, at least half a dozen times. You know, I've probably heard it 50 times. And I didn't do it when it came to property. I don't know why I thought property was different. It's not different. It's not different from anything. Okay? So once you know what you want, again, I'd encourage you to get pictures. And up until now, I think the iPhones are fantastic because you can get a picture of something and you can put it on that phone. And my phone's actually off. It's over there. I got a real short-term goal in there. Because the one I had on there was a photo of George and the school that he was going to. So every time I put my iPhone on, since January this year, that's been on my subconscious mind. Okay? And I want to talk to you a little bit about that too. So who knows what's at the back of your eye that connects... By the way, I usually get prizes for my artistic endeavour. And I'm a great illustrator, and sometimes I give these away at the end of talks and I sign them. And who knows what they're going to be worth in the future. And I'll just demonstrate that because there's something at the back of your eye which connects, it's called your reticular activating system, okay? RAS. And it connects your eye to your, well, who's the first one to guess what this is?
Brain.
Sorry, what was that?
Brain.
See, I only drew half of it and you already know. Isn't that awesome?
It's either that or walnut.
What was that, sorry?
It was either that or walnut.
Oh, is that a walnut? Yeah, absolutely. So it connects your eye to your walnut, to your brain. And what it means is you can keep things in focus. So if I'm going to talk about your subconscious mind here, your conscious mind, imagine, okay, here we go. Here's another chance. See, my illustration will be so good. What's this?
Iceberg.
An iceberg, obviously. Yeah. Obviously it's an iceberg. So you've got an iceberg here, and this is signifying your mind, okay? And up here, above the water, we've got a tiny, tiny bit of it, which is your conscious mind. And you've got this massive, massive piece under here, which is your subconscious mind. Now, most of you, and certainly what I was doing, is I was trying my best to have this work for me, but actually, all of this was working against me. And most of you have your subconscious mind actively working to stop you achieving your property goals and your other goals. Isn't that good news? Yeah? Well, the reason it's good news is once you know what you're doing, you can change it. Okay?